Hi everybody, and welcome back to our channel, The Lord's Table, the ladies of real destiny, where we get to dine with each other and dine with the Lord of Lords himself. I welcome you back. My name is Samantha, and if you haven't watched the videos below, which I have done, please do so. Please like my videos, comment so we can have a conversation, and like, share, and yeah, subscribe. So I'm here to just carry on with my story. I'm doing a series called Naked and Free. What do I mean for those that are joining us? I'm talking when you become naked, when you share your story, you become free. Sometimes society tells us to hide away the things that are deep inside of us. We show people a kind of person that you want people to see and you think people want to see and know, but then that keeps you bound. And this is a journey that I've been taking since 2020, and it's been amazing and really freeing when I've started becoming authentic with myself. It's not about becoming real with other people only, but with yourself. So I'm carrying on with the story I was talking about, fertility journeys. My story started from polycystic ovary syndrome, my journey into the fertility journey, and my journey through to my child and all that. So if you watched the last video, I spoke about how social services got in touch and they said, wow, your little girl is here if you still want her. So yeah, my little girl then, we organized everything as a ministry. We sorted out a mother who will look after her, foster mother. We got all that sorted and it was amazing. We got our little girl home. It was fantastic. So we took her home from 3 months. She lived with us and it was amazing. All the medical checks we had done and all sorts. You can imagine having waited for so long, and here you have a beautiful little girl. Amazing. She calls you mom in her head. She sees you. It's given her a beautiful home, and it was amazing. And I had the best support around me. And like I mentioned in my video past, that my sister-in-law, I had mothers, friends, my family was just so supportive, and it was really amazing. So she got home, she started settling in, and it was about the 4th month. I'm going to start telling you bits and pieces of what happened. It's about the 4th month having a baby at home that obviously we are abroad and we have a foster mother looking after her. So the 4th month, and my husband was preparing to go over and see her and have the whole process, those that live in the diaspora and those that know it, you just don't have that money to just fly off and do all sorts. Unless you're so blessed and you have the luxury, but we didn't. So one had to go ahead, and my husband decided to do so. And just before he did, he noticed that every time our foster mother sent us pictures of her, she was leaning to the side. And he said, there's something wrong with the baby. I said, what do you mean? So there is something wrong with the baby. I've been keeping my mouth shut, and every time we see her pictures, she's leaning to the side. There must be something wrong. So we then decided she goes for checks, and they did go for checks. And yes, I think when she was thrown into the Blair, if you haven't watched, into the pit latrine, and she must have hit her head, and apparently she seemed to be premature. So when she hit her head, her neck somewhere, something went wrong there. So there was an initial diagnosis of I'm forgetting the term now, cerebral palsy. And I being a woman of faith, and the foster mother being a woman of faith, we said no, we are not taking that. We rejected it and we said no. And the doctor said, but then it's a very mild one. It looks like it's fixable. It can be fixed, because it was brought on with the fact that she was thrown, and on her way down she hit her head. And not only that, she was premature, and we really do not know how she was given birth to and how premature she is. They really could not put 2 and 2 together. So we worked with that, and we started therapy. We started physiotherapy, yes, and we started having massages on different at home and all, to see if she can get better with that. And then we saw another doctor, and then they were leaning also to cerebral palsy. And then a family friend who is a doctor, also a pediatric doctor. Yeah, I think that's it. She works with children. Okay, she also looked at her without knowing the diagnosis. She was holding her. She goes, Samantha, she was with my sister actually. And she goes, hey, Samantha, and then had a look at the baby. Then my sister says, yeah, and just what do you think? She also kind of confirmed the same, that she's leaning towards cerebral palsy. And because she had been working with children with cerebral palsy for about 5 years at that time, she was quick to pick that. So we just started working with all that. So can you imagine the blow of, oh man, here we are, we have a baby, and now she's got all this. Everybody's like, oh my God, they were all sad for me. But we were happy. My husband and I were like, doesn't matter, cerebral palsy or not, if it is, whatever they're thinking, whatever, we take it. We are not returning, we're not doing whatever the first couple did, we're not doing any of that. We were happy with her. And this is not because we are desperate, we want her. But then it's not because of that, but we just loved her, genuinely. So the doctor said her hearing, her eyes, everything else is perfect. She hears well. They did all the tests, and everything is well, but we have to just monitor this neck situation. So when she started sitting, she would sit, but she would drop her head to the side all the time, like so. A classic cerebral palsy symptom as well, even when she's eating and whatever. So every time we used to sit her up, we would sit her up with cushions and things like that. So, on a happy note, when my husband saw her, my word, he cried, hugged her. I had so many videos, so many pictures, and here I was back in the UK, so jealous. I was so jealous. And then Daddy and his girl were having fun. And while he was there, she got a bit poorly. She got a cold. And another thing that they also then went for tests was to find out when she was thrown in there. We don't know how long she was in the cold for. Bear in mind, she's a premature baby. She's just been born. She's been thrown in the toilet and it is freezing cold. So she now had phlegm, I don't know, like yucky gooey stuff that you get on the chest, almost like when you have pneumonia. So she had phlegm on the chest, and every time when she's breathing, you're gonna or that sound. So she had that, and we used to rub her on the back, and then she would throw it up and bring it all up. And sadly, that also led to her having asthma that was later diagnosed. I'm fast forwarding and telling the story in a nutshell, really. Later diagnosed that she had asthma. So, but then my husband noticed that, again, being a good dad, that and then they took her to the doctors, and then, okay, you told us and told the foster mother and my husband how to help along the phlegm to come out. So they would rub and massage her back and bring it all up. And then, but the exciting part, the bond they created, even everybody around just laughed. She grabbed his hand and she held him so tightly that he laughed, and she would look at him and smile. And every time he spoke a word, she would smile and giggle and hold him, touch his beard. It was beautiful to watch. I was seeing from videos being sent, and everybody was like, it's as if she knew that Daddy's home. And it just reminds me of how Papa God gets so excited when we come to him, and when we just bask in his presence. It just reminds me of that. Yeah, I just throw in there. I digress, as you all know. So I loved that, and that relationship. These tears that are coming to my eyes are tears of joy, thinking of that. And my brother then phoned me and she goes, oh my gosh, this little girl looks like you. I kid you not, my baby looks exactly like me, and a bit of her dad, which I thought, this can only be God. People could not tell anything. She had big eyes like mine and all that. So it was really exciting. So my husband, then they had this bond. My brother said to me, you're going to be just left outside, because my brother has a little girl as his firstborn, and he says, you're going to be left aside because they're going to have a father and daddy relationship. And I don't want to bust your bubble, but you're just going to be looking in. And it happened. I was just out. Every time it was daddy and his girl. And every time we went shopping, it was no longer, do you want some shoes? Would you like, we're going to get baby this. We're going to get Ariella that. We're going to get her that. It was more about her. I didn't mind that because we were so excited. So fast forward, I had some family members that were, this is the heartbreak. Some family members that were a bit negative. They would say certain things that did not sit well with me. And honestly, I was hurt. Someone said, oh, she's going to give us trouble. Oh, you better send her back where she came from and things like that. Already she's having issues, blah, blah, blah. It was heartbreaking. And another blow that came to me was I was shocked when I went, I was in Zimbabwe and I was doing the process, and the social worker, they had no idea. They did not do thorough tests, so that's why they did not see that she had a problem with her neck. They did not even get a diagnosis of the phlegm that was in her chest, all those things. And so when I sat there with the foster mother and we were talking about it with the social worker, and then we told her that she was got diagnosed with PC, cerebral palsy, with CP, cerebral palsy. She was shocked. She was like, what? Cerebral palsy? And then we were like, yes. And the thing that shocked me, I wept in the social worker's office. She said to me and the foster mother, oh, so she has a disability. And then we said, yeah, you can call it that according to diagnosis, yes. And then she goes, oh, well, you can bring her back and you can take another. I'll just pause there just to let you think. You can bring her back and take another. What is she? A pair of shoes? Is she a dress? What is she? That's a human being we're talking about. I was shocked. I cried. And then she said, well, that's what we do with children like her. I mean, like her. What do you mean like her? She is a baby. She is a human being. We love her. We've loved her from day one. And if you take her back, what do you do with her? Well, they just go in a home where they are kept. And said, is that what you do with all disabled children? We do that with all disabled children. That really was heart-wrenching. It broke my heart. I said, no, we want a cerebral palsy or not. Even if they say she's not going to walk, even if they do, I'm prepared. I am ready. She goes, oh, well, and I goes, wait, but we need to hear from your husband. Phoned my husband and he said it on the phone. We're ready. We want this. We want her as she is. Family was concerned. My baby sister was really concerned. Are you sure? And she's explained, I have a friend who has a sister who has cerebral palsy and they struggled. Now she's in her late teens and all that. And I said, I'm fine. She goes, she cried. My baby sister cried and she goes, I salute you. I salute the both of you because I don't think I could do this. She was being honest. And a lot of people that I met said the same thing. Some said, just take her back. Some said negative things to the foster mother. Some said so much. But I thank God the foster mother stood. We stood together in faith. As a family, we stood together. And we just held her. So that's what we went through. So imagine the process of waiting and still waiting to this day. And then you're given this beautiful angel. And then she comes. For other people, they'll say baggage. But for me, she comes with blessings, but that just need extra patience. I'll just say that again. She came with blessings that needed extra patience. We just needed to buy extra equipment. We just needed extra things. But she was in so much pain, even doing the physio and all. But she was amazing. She was an amazing little girl. So one of my family members who I love and respect so much, He was the only one. Many would look, obviously they would talk behind closed doors, because when you carried and you held my baby, you needed to support Ariana's head at all times. So because her head would tilt like this, so when you held her, you would need to hold her and support the head, just more or less like what you would do with a new baby. But then she was growing, so we were doing that all up until she passed. We would hold her head to support her. So you would find people making funny things, and she was a tall girl, really tall. So carrying her on the back because she couldn't walk. She sitting on by herself, she tried, but she would topple over. But she was very clever. She would do things all on her own. When you were around, she wouldn't. She would move around. The moment you walk in, she pretends she can't do it. She was very clever, just like any little girl around those age, very manipulative. But back to the family member that I respect. He was the only one that came, and he said to me, "Sis," and I said, "Yeah, we're actually on a driving. So I want to drive with you. Let's go with our own car." So we took his car, and then my husband went with his wife. So he said, "I'm really wondering why you did this." And I said, "I don't understand." He said, "You have been waiting for a child, and you're still waiting for so long. And then I would have thought you would have had a little girl or a little boy you would run around with. You would be super proud to take around and show people. I'm not saying you're not proud of her, but she's beautiful, she's lovely, but she has a disability. Isn't that a challenge for you?" You know, somebody would get upset, would get angry. I smiled and I looked at him and said, "Thank you. Thank you for speaking to me. Thank you for coming to me and not talking behind my back. And I thank you for asking that." So I explained to him, yes, she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, but then they said it's something that can be worked on because it was brought on because of the damage that she had when she was thrown. And I explained to him she was thrown in the Blair toilet. He was shocked, and I explained the whole process to him. And I said, "We are happy. We are taking her for physio." But since 4 months, at 4 months when she got diagnosed, she had been getting better. She could hold her head up when she wanted to, and things like that. So I explained to him, and he understood and said, "So I am believing God, and at the same time, I'm believing the medical side where we are massaging her body, we are taking her for physio, we're doing this, that she'll be fine." And then he looked at me, goes, "Once again, I salute you. And you know what? I'm glad. If you're happy, I'm happy." So it is better. I encourage people, if you have questions about things going in somebody's life, family members, friends, ask. Don't assume or don't talk about them behind their back, because we do know. I was so overprotective of her that I didn't want people to hold her. If I can see that you're giving her a funny look, you better just stay away. You better just stay away. Because I became so overprotective, so much so that my sister at one time said to me, "Are you being overprotective, or are you afraid that people will now ask you what's going on?" So that made me open my mind, so I became a bit relaxed. So that's the story about my daughter. Why am I sharing this whole story and whole thing? That God's ways are not our ways. He gives us somebody that had challenges. But though she had challenges, we gave her a home. We loved her. God was teaching my husband and I, and even the foster mother, something. You know, we could have said, "Why us, God? We've waited so long, and now you're giving us somebody who needs extra care," when we thought we were going to have somebody running around, blah. But no, God was teaching us something. Are you going to be able to love unconditionally? Are you going to be able to care for the thing that I'm going to give you? Now I'm saying thing because you may be waiting for a thing. Are you going to be able to love that thing, or to nurture and care for that thing? Even if it has a damage, even if it has a challenge that comes with it. Are you going to be able to mother those children, even if they come with a challenge? So that is the story so far. And I'm going to cut this and then share a little bit more. My story needs interaction, I'm afraid, on how you want me to share and what you want me to share. Are there things that you want me to go deeper in? And I can go deeper in that. But the journey was so long. I have a journey which I'm going to tell you about social services. I've already given you a glimpse of how annoyed I was. We can take her back and give you another. There is more. Social services across can do better. So I will be sharing a video on that, the adoption process, how things went from on and on and on. I hope I made sense in this video, but trust God, trust the process. Trust the process. You have no idea how freeing being naked is making me. I'm excited for myself and for you, as you decide to become free in whatever story that you are walking in. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below so we can interact. Come on, guys. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, and thank you for watching.